national projects for Dodge and for the American Lung Association. I'm used to putting these together, national tours, so I am used to it. Politics is a little out of my realm. It's a little different. I'm not a politician, so it's been a little different dealing with that. But the other part's been fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
And Peter's done so much on this. I have to say.
Well, it's very much appreciated,
well,
Peter.
I just hope I can keep on at this rate, and I'm looking forward to keeping going and keeping this on the top of the agenda. So, speaking of which, I did want to find out if you'd heard back from New York Yacht Club at all.
Steve McGinnis, I have not. I didn't
Okay.
follow up. I left two messages, and he hasn't reached out to me. I think he may be on holiday.
Yeah.
You know everyone there, right?
Not everyone, no, I know.
But you know a lot of people
Yeah.
there. I saw a few people at an event this weekend at the film event. that
Oh, yeah. The Newport.
seemed willing to jump in and
Yeah.
help.
All right.
Yeah.
I can provide the contacts of them.
Yeah.
You're there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Steve McGinnis is probably the best contact, because he's a lawyer, and he's on there. I don't know what
Yeah.
role his
He's also on the board of Sale Newport too.
yeah.
Board of directors, and I ended up speaking to Mohammed Farzan, who is the board of directors president of Sale Newport, and he didn't see why they couldn't attend this. He seemed, I told him I'd send him a personal invitation. I had about a 25-minute conversation with him, and I was very positive, and he said he was going to look into whether or not he could come as a representative of Sale Newport, but Brad Reed, who is also, he's the director of, executive director, I believe, and and he's the one who apparently declined and said he couldn't come because of, I don't know, it's in the minutes, because it's a not-for-profit entity on state property or whatever.
I think we're going to get a number of non-profits that will be there, so I think.
It wasn't, did seem like a very powerful argument against attendance.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a 99% attendance from a lot of these groups are inviting. They may be the only one that doesn't.
I just mean they're against it from what I can understand. They should be anyway.
Right.
And,
Yeah, you don't like
they should
this.
attend. But the other question is, when you have an attendee, how do you separate from those who maybe are on the program as attendee, but also somewhat sponsoring and behind the idea of opposing it? For those who are just attending on an informational basis, and you advertise that Sale Newport is here, but you don't include them, like if there's a brochure or something like that.
Right,
I mean, how do you? We have to deal with that.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
If you attend, you may be there for informational purposes. I would think that most people who are attending are there because they are supporting our idea.
In an official capacity.
Right.
Well, I would definitely, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that was my point. So how do we separate, between the two?
Right.
People that support it versus those that.
Those who are coming, for informational purposes, or just to be there out of interest. Like maybe Mohammed is going to do that just to show up and say, well, we're here, but we're not in support of stopping it, or
Well, it's not that they're not in support of stopping it, but they're not necessarily there in representation of Sale Newport, because they don't want to hold that. So they just don't want to hold.
I would probably follow in a similar fashion the way that either Grossmart or Quidnick Island Planning Commission do their gatherings, which is you have the attendees, list of attendees, you have a packet of information for them, you have the badges ready. When I sign up for a Grossmart workshop or the Providence gathering, I certainly had my name on the list and was happy to have it there. I would assume that anybody that wouldn't be happy to have it may not want to come. I would assume that most people that want information would not mind having their name.
Yeah, I mean, we could ask organizations if they're opposed, against, or neutral. If we have an attendee list, and some, either at the time that they contact us to say they're coming and put put me on the list, or at, you know, at the moment that they come in to get their badge, you could, and then, you know, we could just.
I will say that I have yet to find one in favor of the terminal.
Mm-hmm.
I have found maybe 2 that feel the need to remain neutral,
Mm-hmm.
and a number that have already come out publicly and opposed it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
who will attend in that fashion. So I would say that that's probably where we're at.
Yeah.
I think we're worrying over something that's not going to be an issue, is my guess.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right. All right, so circling back, next Monday, we never really did seal the deal on that. It's fine with me unless there's going to be people absent at other towns.
Well, I may be,
Well, that's a good question.
and Eric answered,
And I would want you to help you with it.
yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a meeting on Wednesday or Thursday next week, if that works.
Wednesday's a planning commission meeting, I couldn't do that.
Or Thursday.
Unless you did it earlier, and we were done by 7:30.
What, is it 7:30 when the planning commission
On
starts?
Wednesday, yeah.
Well,
It'd be a long
I
night.
get started.
It would be a long
We do
night
it
for
at
me.
6:30.
we could do 6:30, our meetings have a general.
Yeah,
It
well,
would be a long night for me.
Well, if you really prefer, yeah, well, okay.
I prefer another night.
You would prefer another night, okay. Well, Thursday would probably be fine.
Thursday works for me. Thursday works for me.
Martin, Peter?
Thursday's okay.
Thursday works for me as well, yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick statement, which is in attending Bristol and in attending Middletown,
Mm-hmm.
the councils are getting it immediately.
Mhm.
They understand the need to have the governments of the towns of the Bay unite and take this on and work with independent committees, but to try to bring some order and some continuity to a really big fight ahead. And I think that's key. I think that's going to be what's going to make this work. And I think as we move forward and keep that in focus, I think that's really going to make this work
Yeah,
and develop the strategic plan out of that body.
yeah.
So, do we feel that it's primarily going to be one individual from each town council?
No, I don't know that that's the case. I think that that's something that could probably be discussed at that first meeting. I would recommend a small body that can do an independent strategic plan. And it could be more than one, probably not more than 2.
I would suggest that if we're planning on having a meeting the following day,
Well, I'm not sure about, I'm wondering if it shouldn't be the following week.
well, I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is that the invitation references the one day. We would need to separately notify everyone that they need to consider who that person would be and are they available the next day. The other option is we go to the meeting with the concept of getting agreement that this body needs to exist with representatives from each town, discuss perhaps whether it needs to be, you know, a council member or somebody else designated by them. Give the towns a, you know, fairly brief amount of time to come to a decision on that matter, and then we have the meeting after that.
You know, I don't, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, but I mean, the problem with that is you lose a lot of time.
No, I
Yeah, so-
think we should go ahead and plan the second meeting and give them advance notice that they should be thinking of
Mhm.
representatives to send
Okay.
under a certain limit,
Mhm.
so that it remains a strategic planning committee.
All right.